Yeah, still very quiet conditions here at the moment. Basically all the precipitation is still well off to our south. I gotta tell you, in the few minutes I've been here, there have been multiple Missouri Department of Transportation plows pre-treating the roadways, and for good reason. I kind of take a temperature sample of pavement right here. We're already feeling it below freezing. So despite those temperatures warmed the past few days, we've had time to cool. But everyone is ready across the area, and that includes MoDOT. We're at the MoDOT facility, as you mentioned, in Palmyra, and normally when you think of these winter events, you think of snow plows. However, it's events like this, we don't really need these. What we need is in the back. Let's come back to the back of the truck here. By the way, MoDOT, all their trucks right here, we have 5 at the Palmyra facility. They're all ready for the event to unfold. Now, different snow fighting methods and ice fighting methods. For one, we have the rock salt, which you can see up here. This truck is ready to go, ready to start hitting the roads as that ice storm begins to hit. The other method that they use, which is a lot better in a lot of respects as it can kind of spread out better and they use less salt to actually use it, is the brine mix. We use water and brine come out through this. Now, if you travel down the highways, especially in Missouri, you'll see those white lines in the highway. That's actually the brine that you kind of see hitting the pavement and spreading out. The broader perspective, again, shows that things are getting a lot more active off to our southwest. We're looking at this storm system. It's moving in our direction over the next couple of hours, pushing towards the Quincy area, probably about 3 or 4 a.m. That's when we're expecting this big, massive precipitation to start moving on in. You know, the ice storm has passed through much of the tri-states, but looking ahead, we are looking at those warnings beginning to fade out. But it did leave a pretty big impact across the area. Let's take a look at some viewer pictures from across the area. This is from the Shelbina Fire Protection District. We had a semi-rollover during that initial wave, that first wave, which really coated parts of US 36 with kind of a little bit of that shine of ice. Monroe City, Missouri. This is also on Saturday morning. The streets, these are main thoroughfares, completely coated in ice. Now, taking a live look in the city of Quincy, the roads are still damp, a little slick as well. Temperatures hovering right near that freezing mark, so there will be some patchy freezing areas across the area. So if you're heading out tonight, just make sure you give yourself extra time, make sure you give yourself a little bit extra stopping room. As Rich was discussing earlier, the winter weather advisory continues tonight all the way through tomorrow morning. You can see behind me the roads are actually starting to accumulate pretty quickly because the nature of the snow, it's very light, it's very fluffy, it accumulates very quickly. And that's why the Illinois Department of Transportation and the Missouri Department of Transportation both kind of discussed and put out advisories urging motorists to use extra caution, because not only is the snow going to accumulate pretty quickly on the roadways, but also the methods they use to fight the snow is definitely going to become a lot less efficient. Check in with our folks in Macomb, quiet in the courthouse square. Temperatures cooling down pretty quickly there. 29 degrees, that's a low spot right now in the region, but look at that dew point, only at 26. So this temperature can only go as low as that dew point. That's why we're not going to see these temperatures really free fall like they did last night. We'll probably hang on to the upper 20s to low 30s across the area. We'll see a lot more shower activity along it, but then it'll push through doing two things. First, it'll clear us out very nicely, as you can see here, and we'll see mostly clear skies heading into Tuesday night, but it'll also knock our temperatures down quite a bit, as we'll have more northwesterly flow bring in that colder air. Now, these are the current temperatures across the entire area. Notice 34 in Quincy, 41 right now in St. Louis. Look off to our east and southeast. That's where our air is coming from now. That's why we've been fairly mild. Let's look off to the northwest. This is where our air will be coming from starting Tuesday. We're looking at below zero temperatures and temperatures in the single digits. You can see our Quincy Skycam doesn't show much, but tells the entire story. Icing, definitely the problem here in the Quincy area, and that's going to be the main story heading into the weekend. Temperatures here down to 24 degrees. They'll warm up to about freezing. I don't think it'll be warm enough to melt the ice off that Skycam until we head into Monday. Now, the radar satellite composite shows we're beginning to dry out. That freezing rain has pushed on off to our southeast. We're beginning to dry out along the Mississippi River and points west. We did have that freezing rain which pushed on through this morning. We do have those freezing rain advisories still in effect for Schuyler, Cass, Morgan, and Scott County through 9 a.m. Again, even though points west of that aren't under that advisory, we still have that freezing rain that rolled on through, which you just saw through that Skycam. So roads are still pretty slick. Make sure you give yourself extra time as you head out the door this morning. Forecast in motion, very important. Notice this purple line. You'll be watching this as we go through the forecast. That's your freezing line. As we go through the day today, we'll begin to see gradual clearing skies. Good news, that might start melting some of the ice on the roadways, and we'll be looking at mostly clear skies heading into this weekend. The freezing line comes very close to the Quincy area, but will likely stay below freezing heading into today. Now, the main forecast begins to unfold tonight across our south. Southern Missouri, things begin getting very interesting. You see a lot of freezing rain beginning to develop Friday morning into the afternoon. Taking a look at the tri-states, we begin to watch that freezing rain moving into our area Friday afternoon. afternoon through the evening, and then sporadic showers continuing through Sunday. Now, to get you guys prepared, we do have these winter storm watches in effect across most of the tri-states, again, mainly south of US 136. We are calling for about 1/4 inch of ice to a little bit more off to our south, mainly south of US 36 and I-72, maybe upwards of 3/10 to maybe even a little bit more. Is officially going into effect come Friday afternoon. Now, very complicated forecast. Here's your kind of quick timeline. A light glaze to the north starting Friday evening, continuing through Sunday afternoon. Again, upwards about 3/10 of an inch to our south. Cold temperatures, not really that big of a factor heading into the forecast because it's going to be pretty warm, all things considered. However, that temperature is very important to the forecast. Notice we kind of sit around that freezing line, very important for the freezing rain. Now, the travel hazards, I have that in orange because that's the biggest concern with this travel forecast and this forecast that the icy roads will be very likely starting again Friday evening, probably around 6 o'clock. All the way until Sunday afternoon and evening, we'll finally get above freezing. Then sporadic power outages are possible heading Friday afternoon into Sunday. I don't think we'll be talking about a widespread power outage event because the wind won't be that strong. So sporadic power outages are possible. Prepare for that, but I don't think we have to deal with a widespread event. So for today, we'll warm up to about 31 degrees, gradual clearing throughout the afternoon. We'll see that sunshine heading into tonight. However, begin to get cloudy again. Mostly cloudy skies tonight, about 16 degrees, north wind about 10 miles per hour. 7-day forecast. Again, things get very interesting. I'll try and break it down for you once again. Freezing rain late Friday into Saturday, persisting almost all day Saturday long and into Sunday. Freezing rain will then transition from freezing rain to rain Sunday afternoon. And then look at Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We warm up back into the 40s. Any freezing rain that does accumulate will likely begin to melt